Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and we are here at Animal Control in Frederick County on Rosemont Avenue, and we are bringing you some adoptable pets today. It's getting close to the holidays, so if you have some time off over Christmas and you were interested in getting a pet while you're home to get them used to your routine, now would be the time to come in and choose one so we can take care of spaying and neutering and doing all of that before you take the pet home. This little kitten we are calling Verizon, and of course he wouldn't care if you changed his name. And sometimes people know that they want to adopt two kittens together, and then you're in luck because Verizon has a sibling named Samsung. So they play together in the cage that they're in together. They have 3 different rooms, and they have a hammock and a litter box, so they're getting very used to all of the things that...
And they don't look alike.
Oh yeah, Randy's saying, and they don't look alike at all. Samsung is black and white, so they are just a cute little pair and play together very well. If you are not interested in getting 2 kittens, don't worry, because a lot of times when you adopt 2 kittens from the same litter, when they get to be 9 or 10 months old, they really want their own space. So it is very fun to raise 2 kittens together. Siblings are very likely to get along throughout their life, but they don't need each other after about 9 months, so you don't have to feel bad about separating them if you only want one. So if you have been thinking about getting a kitten, remember that kittens are usually born to cats that are outside, not pets, because 80% of pet cats are spayed. So kittens born outside stop being born late in the year, so there will not be tiny kittens at Christmas. So the kittens that we have left, of which there are about 30, are half in foster and half here in the shelter. So now is the time to come in if you are thinking about getting a Christmas kitten. Our next guest is Claude. And Claude is going to test Randy's lion taming skills. He is also a kitten, orange tabby and white, and he was found in the Willowdale area when he was a little smaller, and now he is with us looking for a home. And I don't know if you can see him, but he is quite playful. And as you all may know by now, we color code our cats and kittens orange, green, and blue. And blue are the lap cats that can sit in your lap and be petted, don't mind if you cut their nails. The green kitties are the ones that are more independent, outgoing, active, and the ones in the middle are like this. Lots of fun. When they're in the mood to be held, then they're perfect lap cats, and when they're in mood to play, then they will entertain you. And now Claude is getting very fired up. So if you have been thinking about getting a kitten, as I said, if you want to do it at the holidays, think carefully, because obviously if you have a Christmas tree, it's a little hard to have a kitten in the house. And if you're going to be traveling or having friends over, it might not be the right time to get a new pet. But many people take a week or 2 off at Christmas, and then that makes it a great time to change your schedule, get your new pet settled in. And you can even do like fake routines so that your pet will be used to you leaving, so that you know when you have to go back to work, everything will go smoothly.
That's our red snake. I'll get it. I'll protect you from this red snake.
Our next guest is Wally. And Wally was originally found with his brother, and we're calling them Wally and Eddie, but they were originally brought in as a boy and girl. So Wally's original name was Lucy, which we have changed to Wally. And again, if you want to adopt 2 kittens together, these 2 look very much alike and can go together. And in their case, they might prefer to be together because they're shy. They really like each other, trust each other, and give each other confidence. But as you can see, bringing him to a new place He's more nervous than the other two. And that's probably the most important thing that you can get from watching the TV show, is that all of the kittens and the cats are being subjected to pretty much the same thing. Randy goes back to their cage, opens it, makes them comfortable and feel like, he's safe. He puts them in a carrier. He brings them to a strange room with a strange person who's talking and filming. And so he is showing you the range of behaviors that kittens offer when they're given a new situation. However, we still recommend that you come to the shelter and see them in their environment, because kittens that are made nervous by going to a new place can sometimes be the most confident kittens in their familiar place. So you need to know that about any animal that you're going to adopt. How do they handle challenges, and how do they interact with people when they're feeling good and confident? Because then you'll know the range of what they have to offer you as pets. Now, certainly when you take them home and they get used to you and they grow up, because these are babies, they learn all kinds of new things that you wouldn't have seen when you first met them. But it's just one of the ways that we can help you choose. We color code them so you know what we think of them, and then you meet them so you can see what you think of them. You can see them on the TV show so you can see what they think of challenging circumstances, and then you choose the cat that matches you the best. And as you can see, Wally is still not sure, even with a feather as a gift, Wally is still not sure about what to do in a new place with new people. And the people who found the kittens said that they were very shy and it took them a while to catch them. So it's important that these kittens be understood for who they are, which is new situations are challenging to them. Whereas Claude thinks that new situations are to grab and devour. So you can choose the kitten that best suits the way that you picture interacting with your new pet. We are back with Badger, and Badger is about 6 months old. So he's still a kitten, but he's an older kitten, and he is part of the colony that I told you about in previous episode, that a woman was collecting all the kittens and getting them spayed and neutered, and during the sequester, she brought us one litter because she couldn't afford to spay and neuter them at that time until the government shutdown cleared up. And it did, and she is back to doing her good work for us. But she brought in a batch of cats they're used to dogs, they're used to other cats, they're used to children 2 years old and up, and she did a really great job of getting them ready to come to the shelter so that they could be put to the adoption floor pretty quickly. Sometimes, as I'm sure you're aware, we get cats that are too shy and they have to go to foster homes, or too young and they have to go to foster homes, which helps them out.
He's happy, but he wants to go.
And so he's making biscuits and he's, happy to be held, but he wants to do stuff. He's a 6-month-old young boy kitten, and there's bunnies in this room, and he's teenagery and he wants to do stuff. So if you are ready for the short-lived challenge of a teenager cat, then Badger may be the kitty for you. He has beautiful orange eyes, and sometimes people don't notice the color of cats' eyes because they're not that varied. Some cats have blue, some have green, some have yellow, but a very few cats have orange eyes. And so he's the typical Halloween cat, and he's going to be a really beautiful cat. I think he's going to be kind of a big adult. So if you are interested in a lovely cat, as you all know by now, black cats are my favorite, and he has extra silky fur, so that's kind of nice. There's no particular kind of cat fur that you can ensure sheds less or more. Some cats do, and some coats do. So long-haired cats, yeah, and so the silky fur is usually low shed. I can't promise you that, but it's, Sean calls it bunny fur. So if you are looking for a cat, you can't go by the length of hair, because some long-haired cats shed a lot, some barely, and some short-haired cats shed a lot, and some barely. So he has very silky fur, which bodes well for his shedding quality, if that matters to you. And some people do have to consider that.
You're a good kitty.
Our next guest is Heath, and Heath is also between 6 or 7 months old, a beautiful orange tabby male, and one of the other kittens that's in teenager months looking for a home at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. And Heath was found on Baxter Road in town. And that means that of the kittens that you've met this morning, the 5 kittens, we had one that was part of a spay-neuter project that was involving stray cats. And the 2 siblings, Verizon and, oh, you didn't see Samsung, but that were found on Carroll Parkway. And Eddie was found in Middletown. Wally and Eddie were found in Middletown. And Heath was found on Baxter Road. So as you can see, we get kittens from all over the county, all different ages. People are very good about helping them out, keeping the ones they can and bringing the others to us so that they don't contribute to making more kittens in the spring. And one of the things that people are tempted to do when they see kittens outside is to feed them. And this is not a bad thing if you have a plan. If you want to feed the kitten so that the kitten will grow to trust you, so that you can catch the kitten, spay and neuter the kitten, find a home for him or her, and get him off the streets, then that's great. Even if you have to bring him here, we understand. But what you should not do is put food out without a plan, because you'll also attract wild animals. And what feeding cats does is allows them to stay just healthy enough to reproduce. It doesn't handle their vaccines or their flea control or their parasite control. And so if the cats are just healthy enough to stay alive and reproduce, then they're going to start to collect and share diseases. So I'm sure many of you have heard about cases where someone has a barn and a cat shows up, so they feed her, and then in the spring she has kittens, so they feed them, and then later in the fall the kittens start having kittens. And then you have, before you know it, 27 cats. And that's too many, especially if they're all going to start reproducing. So it is great to help a homeless cat, but make sure you have a plan. And if you're not sure what that would be or what resources are out there for kittens, call me. Call us at the shelter, and we will tell you about low-cost spay and neuter. We can refer you to groups that help pay vet bills in emergencies. We can refer you to groups that help you actually trap and collect cats to spay and neuter. There are a lot of people in Frederick who are doing the work of trying to get the cats that are left having kittens without homes contained and population controlled, so that the shelter will not be receiving over 1,000 kittens between April and October. That is hard on us and hard on the kittens, but as you can see, as many of them as we can end up healthy and robust and beautiful and waiting for you here at the shelter. It's quite a deal to get a shelter kitten, because you will get a kitten that is microchipped, that is litter trained, that is started on vaccines, that has been examined by a vet more than once, and spayed and neutered. So it is a great deal, and for $97.50, checked for leukemia as well. We're going to be back after a short break with more cats. These are adult cats that are available for adoption from the shelter. We have so many in the shelter. We're really trying to find them a home for the holidays as well as before the new year. Welcome back to Pet Pals. We are back with more adoptable cats from Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue. And this is Baby. Believe it or not, Baby is a kitten. He is only 10 months old, so he is going to be big. And despite his large size, Randy said he's trembling, so he's nervous to come in here. And as we talked about earlier in the show, cats really like where they live. So much so that often people report to us that they've packed up all of their belongings, taken their cat to their new house, and the first chance the cat gets, he bolts out the door, and they find him close to their old house. So cats do really like the place that they live in, eat in, play in, and they don't handle moving very easily. So what we recommend, if you move with your cat or if you get a new cat, that when you bring them into a new place, you put them in a very small space for a week where they can control their kitty litter, their food, their water, the space around them. You get to go in there as often as you want so that they bond to you, they find you to be the most interesting, fun, you bring affection, you bring food, so that they understand you as their caretaker. Then when you let them out of that small space, they're very likely to return to that small space if anything is hard or startling. And one of the things that people often think about animal shelters is that it's sad that the cats have to live in cages. Now, certainly we would rather that they had larger cages that allowed them to have a sufficiently greater amount of exercise, which is why we have volunteers come in, take them out and pet them and brush them, groom them, interact with them, get them to play, to make up for the small size of the cages. But what we also do, which I'm sure all of you have seen when you come to the shelter, is that when we have the space, we allow the cats to have more than one cage. We have little portals through the walls of the cages so that cats can have 1, 2, even 3 rooms. We also have the kitty cabana, which is a full-size room. We also have shelves in the cages, and we have the kitty condo, which is a PVC 2-story tower. So we have 2 of those. So we do our best to make sure that the cats have plenty of room to run around while still maintaining a small space that makes them feel safe. This is Pumpkin, and Pumpkin is a 1.5 years old, and this color, tortoiseshell, is primarily seen in female cats. In fact, only 1 in 300 is a male. So she was found in Thurmont and is so friendly that we know someone cared for her in her life, because she very much seeks out people for care. And what you probably don't know when you're watching the show is I have the easy job. All I have to do is talk about animals, which I enjoy. And these are all animals that are in the shelter every day where I work, so it's very easy for me to know some facts about them to share with you. But Randy has the difficult job of helping these cats to be in a strange place and be filmed. So one of the strategies he uses with the kittens, as you saw, was using toys to let them know it's a fun place. But what he does with cats that are a little reluctant to come out is let them tuck back into the armrest of the chair. And that goes to a little bit of what we were talking about when you take a new cat home, to put them in a small, safe place first. Let them build up their confidence, let them come to you. And then once they do, they'll already trust you as a source of good things. You'll be bonded with them. And then you let them out into the wider world of the house so that they can, if they get startled by a ceiling fan or whatnot, they're likely to look to you for an explanation of, is that dangerous? And I don't know if you can see already, but Pumpkin, you didn't see her coming out of her carrier. She was friendly and purring, and Randy put her on his lap and tucked her in. But now she knows it's safe. So she is getting all the affection she can, which, as you see, she very much enjoys. She is what we would call a lap cat, and I think she's going to make someone a great pet. In fact, I believe she was someone's pet, as friendly as she is. But only a very small percentage of our cats that come in found outside ever have their owners reclaim them. And that is not to say that owners don't come here every day looking for their lost cats. But some research that was done by Maddie's Fund, which is a charity, said that 1/3 of people get their pet by keeping a stray that they found. So if someone finds a pet, they are likely to assume that the pet is unwanted, that the pet needs them, and in many cases they put up flyers in their immediate neighborhood. but cats and dogs cut across fields and streams and drainage areas and alleys and even go under bridges. So they can be very close to home, within a mile of home, but be in a neighborhood where the signs that are posted about finding an animal never are seen by the owner. So we cannot encourage you enough, if you find a pet or if you lose a pet, please call and make a report to animal control so that we can do our best to match them up. Pumpkin is a beautiful cat. See, she wants more. A beautiful cat who is looking for a lap to a lap to exploit. We are back with Max, and Max is a 3-year-old gray and white domestic short hair male cat. He's already neutered. He's already lived in a home. He's actually lived in 2 different homes. His owners are going to be traveling for 6 months, and they are not able to afford what it would cost to keep him in a kennel for 6 months. It'd probably be like 10 or 20 bucks a day, and they just can't do it. So they gave him to their cousin, and she is not able to keep him. She has decided after having him in her house that she was going to help them out for 6 months, and she was like, wow, I'm not really a cat person, don't really want a cat. So she brought him to us. So his owners came and picked him up and took him back and tried to find a home for him, and they just weren't able to find anybody who wanted a 3-year-old beautiful cat who is used to living in a house and is friendly and outgoing and doesn't really need to sit on your lap all the time. So I think that we will not have any trouble finding someone who would love a beautiful, young, healthy, and typical cat. You know, he doesn't need somebody to be with him all the time, but he is perfectly willing to be handled by people as needed. So and he's beautiful. If you know someone who might like to take Max into their home, then please let us know, because we would definitely like to find him a home before Christmas if possible, but hopefully by the new year, because for those of you who keep track of our population, we still have Tiger here, and she has been here coming close to an entire calendar year, and she's a lovely cat that's been on TV and the radio station and in the newspaper. We just can't find the right person to take her. We also have Kelly and Couscous. Couscous looks very much like Max, only he's chubbier. And Kelly have been here since April. And they are in our kitty cabana, so you can come and meet them and walk in the room, sit on a bench, watch them drinking out of their fountain. They actually think they live here by now, and they like it here, and they have their whole own room with shelves to climb on. So we still need to find them something better so that cats like Max, if he's not selected soon, get a chance to move into the kitty cabana for some exercise and space. So if you know anyone who is interested in Max, let us know, or share his picture around on social networking and help us find him the right place to be. This is Piper. Piper is a brown tabby cat with some white patches, and she is surprisingly tiny. She is between 1 and 2 years old, so she is smaller than some of the kittens that we showed you today. And Piper has some great family experience. She likes all people, including babies. Not that you shouldn't like babies, but sometimes cats do not. And she plays fetch, and she likes bacon. So what could be wrong with that? She is going to make somebody a really fun pet because she has all of that experience. And her family is moving away, and that's why they decided not to bring her along. And a lot of times people who consider their pets to be family members say there's no possible way that they would move and leave their pet behind. But sometimes when people tell us that they're moving, it means that they're moving in with family to care for elderly relatives that are allergic to cats or that already have 3 cats, or that they are moving overseas. There are a lot of more details to the reason for giving up a pet moving. That does not mean people just abandon their pets. And we certainly do encourage people, when they can't keep their pets for whatever reason, to try to rehome them. You know your pet the best, so you know where they will fit in the best. But if you can't, that's what we're here for. And someday we would be very happy to know that pets either keep their homes or get rehomed by their owners. But as the story with Max, they tried very hard to find somebody who would take him, and he's a perfect cat. They just couldn't connect with someone who might be looking. And the nice thing about the animal shelter is that people come here every day who are actually looking for pets. It makes the odds of us finding a home for a cat a little better than a person trying to find a home for just one animal. So Piper is in the situation of having owners who were moving and could not find someone to take her, and brought her to us so that we could. And I think it's going to be easy. She is friendly and has great social skills, and because she's petite, that's attractive. Even though she's not a kitten, she's very tiny. She's beautiful. That always helps someone take a second look into the cage when they're passing through all the cats we have to choose from. So if you think that Piper would make a good match for you or someone that you know, let us know. Come in and meet her. Our next guest is probably one of the prettiest cats we have here in the shelter. She is what we call Torby, which is a mixture of tabby and tortoiseshell. But the reason it's unique for those who care about cat colors, as you know I do, is that a tortoiseshell cat is orange and black. Well, she's not that. And a dilute tortoiseshell cat is cream and gray. Well, she's not that either. She is chocolate and red. She's gorgeous. And her beautiful orange eyes, which we already talked about today, not being the most common eye color of cats. And she was just found. And the people who found her brought her into us hoping we could find her owner. In giving her unique appearance, that should be easy. If someone's looking for this cat or has sent us a picture of this cat or description, she is unique enough that we would be able to make a match. She's also super sweet. But one of the things that's working against her is we estimate her age to be between 8 and 10 years old. Now, not to worry, because a vet has looked at her. We have tested her for leukemia, treated her for worms, given her shots, and she's fine. And cats can live 15 to 20 years, so she has lots of time left. Another thing that we offer just in case is we give 30 free days of pet insurance with every adoption. That means if you're worried about checking out her health before you know for sure that she's for you, then you have that added buffer, the pet insurance. And again, since a vet looks at her before she goes up for adoption, we will tell you everything we know about her health. They listen to her heart. We treat her for parasites, including fleas. So we can give you a lot of information about her state right now. And she is beautiful and looks to be in great shape. There's also the possibility that we're wrong about estimating her age and that she's not 8 to 10. But we like to tell you as much as we possibly can. And she's just a beautiful, beautiful, lovely cat. So I am thinking that she has a great chance of finding a new home. An 8 to 10-year-old cat is close to a 50 or 60-year-old person. So think about that too. Think about what your age is, and would you want to still have the opportunity for new jobs and new travel and meeting new people and wonderful life in your middle age? I know I do. So it's something to think about when you're choosing a pet. If you have enjoyed this episode of Pet Pals, consider sharing it. If you want to see one of the snippets of one of the animals we've featured today or previously, check out petfinder.com, because Randy does his best to clip out everyone's cameo and to put it on Pet Finder so you can share any individual pet's feature if you so choose. We hope we will see you next time on Pet Pals. And Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Happy Hanukkah. Hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving. And always remember that there's pets in the shelter no matter what holiday is going on outside the shelter. And they can certainly use putting the word out as well as your continued donations. You guys are great to us. We really appreciate it. And we will see you next time.